GameStop, Ian. We've talked about GameStop before. Was it last year they closed 150 stores?
Yep, and
not good.
They just lost $500 million in the third quarter. That's special. So special. GameStop reports loss of $488 million in the third quarter. This is largely being attributed towards to a continued interest in digital game sales, and yeah, I mean, I'm seeing that. A lot of this is personal anecdote for me, but I mean, we're obviously seeing this in numbers and the sales of modern games, modern AAA games. I know a lot of my friends have gone to digital sales for games. For modern games, I've largely moved to digital sales, except for things like, I have systems that I do like to collect for, say my Switch. I go physical, but I go into GameStop and I just see physical titles sit. I go there every once in a while to grab a physical copy of a game that I can't get at Luna. We see at Luna, we're seeing more and more physical AAA titles sit, even when we get the new games in, like a week after they come out, and we price them at like $45, not $55. So say, Call of Duty 4 came in for us like a week after. We priced it at $45. It sat for a week and a half before it sold because people just aren't that interested in picking up physical copies anymore. These modern systems have big hard drives. People who want the game the day it comes out don't want to wait in lines at midnight when you can just queue that shit up to download as soon as it's ready to go. On the West, I mention this all the time. If you live on the West Coast or Central Mountain Time or someplace that's not the East Coast, you're going to get the game anywhere from 2 to 3 hours early.
Well, it's not just that. It's not just the fact that the digital, if you want to buy a physical game, people can just go on Prime, go on Amazon and get it too. They don't have to get out of their house. It'll come that day. You know what I mean? So
Amazon can be. People are losing faith in Amazon because Amazon is starting to deliver games late.
They're getting a little later.
Yeah, they're getting.
I got mine on time. I haven't ordered a lot, but.
And you haven't ordered one recently.
Has it gotten that much worse?
It's gotten worse from what people have said.
Well, that's probably because, they're doing a bit more sales now. Like, I can go in right now and order Smash Ultimate right now in like 3 seconds.
I know people were having... getting copies of Pokemon Let's Go late.
How many days?
Like a day late. But, for something like that, that's, it's big.
But it's a convenience factor still.
Sure. So, yeah, I am seeing a march towards all digital. And while I do think all digital by 2022 is still jumping the gun, I do think it'll be, maybe by 2026. And
this is compounded because, as we talked about on the podcast before, is that the margin isn't even in the new games anyway. It's in the used pre-owned games.
Right.
That's the huge margin. So the margin, they sell the $60 game. GameStop makes like $8 or whatever on it. We'll just say the used game they sell for $40. They can be making $30 on that. Off a trade-in, $35 on. That's where their bread and butter is. And so the more digital sales, the less pre-owns come years later. So it's a whole system. The whole system gets turned upside down for them.
But this is where they're getting killed double time. They used to make that money back on the pre-owned sales. When digital games first started being sold, I remember on the 360 when full digital games first started getting added. They were expensive. Well, they were the same price when they came out as our digital games, like on a PS4, Xbox One, Switch. But they never went on sale. Now digital games go on sale all the time, and they usually go on sale for really decent prices. Thus, if you wait long enough and bide your time, just like waiting for that game to come out in used,
you're getting the same cost.
You still get the same deal. So going in and looking for that used copy of the game at GameStop no longer becomes as enticing.
Sure.
Granted, you get a bigger selection at all times. You don't necessarily have to wait, but what I'm getting is you can still find that discount. You can still find that deal if you wait long enough. And GameStop so they're not necessarily making the profit there as much as they used to. And because they don't sell those new games as quickly anymore because of, say, online flash sales or the fact that people are buying them digitally, what happens all the time now at GameStop is they will end up with these excess new copies that they normally sell for $60. They will drop those new copies down to like an insane price on sale for like a week. So they'll take like a $60 game and they will then drop it down to like $35 or $40.
Okay.
They'll keep their used copies at like $45, but the new copy will be $40 or $35. So they'll sell all these new copies to eliminate the stock. So they're actually taking a hit on the new copies, losing money because they need to clear them out.
That's just idiotic corporate practice, though.
But they don't drop the price on the used copies. So the used copies sit on the shelf.
And that's where the margin actually is.
Right. And they scurry these new copies up because they don't want all this extra stock.
And then the used ones with the margin will sit and wait.
The used ones with the margin
Which
sit and wait, and then they take this massive hit on the new copies.
They're just being dumb.
Instead of just maybe dropping the price on the used copies,
Yes.
clearing out all the used copies before the holidays, and then selling the the new copies during.
Either way, it's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad. It's bad.
Dumb.
Either way. So according to this article that reports on it from Game Rant, so they did an overall increase, a 10.4% increase in new software sales. There was a 12.3% increase in new hardware sales, and accessories like headsets and controllers, 32.3% increase in total sales. So all that said, they still lose almost $500 million.
So 13.4% decrease, 13.4% decline in pre-owned sales, 10.4% increase in new software sales. My question is, so obviously they're not making any profit on that, on the new software sales. You make very little on new software sales, but
Sure.
I wonder if part of that is that stupid let's slash these prices. Because a 10.4% increase in new software sales doesn't mean a 10.4% increase in profit off of new software sales.
All I know is this. I don't know how many quarters GameStop can absorb taking a hit that big before they close up more stores.
I know we're going into the holiday season, but they're not going to make that back.
Oh, no. They're gonna $500 million? No, that's not going to probably be made back. They might get close or make it. Either way, at that point, they're going to cut more stores. They have to, right?
I mean, they need to make a pretty sizable they would need to make a bill this quarter for that to be, to really fix that issue. They need to make a profit on top of making back what they lost.
Worldwide, there's 7,200 stores left. 7,200 stores left worldwide at this point.
I still feel like I can trip and fall into one too, but that doesn't sound like a lot of stores
I
anymore.
think they're just going to have to close stores more. And not just 150 in the U.S. whatever. Start closing them everywhere. I don't see how you can maintain it. I just don't.
I think they're going to have to start getting rid of mall stores.
I think malls probably are the worst ones. Most overhead probably too. Yeah.
Well, I feel like of stores in malls, they probably get some of the most business, but people don't go to malls.
I think some malls people still go to, but overall probably you take them out.
Well, they're one of the, I talked to my friend Eric, and he does all that dead mall stuff.
Our malls are still popular in San Diego.
San Diego malls are, but when you look at dead malls, it's like one of the guaranteed stores you're going to find in any dead mall is a GameStop. Maybe it's time for those stores to go away.
Gotcha.
It's going to kill that mall, but they do better in plazas.
There was obviously you had Red Dead 2 come out recently. You had Black Ops 4. That's going to help. I don't think that's probably that's not going to be.
But once again, new copies, little profit.
New copies, little profit. You're still making a profit per, but yeah, the margin still sucks.
I mean, if GameStop is getting the best deal on new copies, they're probably making maximum $10.
Is GameStop? I haven't seen those exclusive deals anymore at GameStop. I guess those are going bye too. In terms of like pre-order at GameStop, you get this fucking rifle for your game or whatever.
I think there's like some of them, but they're not. Yeah, they're not big.
Yeah.
Well, and also that used to be a thing, like when multiple.
Yeah, it used to be like Target pre-order, Walmart, Best Buy maybe, and then you get like the version there.
And a lot of those companies aren't really doing that anymore, so I don't think it really matters for GameStop.
All right, well, what do we usually say? Like 10 years max for GameStop a few years ago? We said something like that?
I think we might still be on that track.
Or maybe even accelerate that to maybe 5 years from this point?
Yeah.
Slightly? I don't know. By the way, GameStop is looking for someone. I think they're looking for someone to buy them, I think, at this point.
We talked about that.
We talk about
back.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. But who would take that on? Like, who would want to take that on? All those storefronts and, potential debt. Fiscal 2017 net loss of $106 million. So they're not making money the past couple of years overall. They're just not. So I guess no one's buying all the trinkets and things on the shelves and T-shirts. People aren't going in the store for that. No. I'm trying to help you out, GameStop. I don't know what the way out is here for you. I'm trying to think of the exit strategy. I don't see one. I just don't. I don't see one. I think this is
Stop filling your store with trinkets that people don't want to buy.
Well, but at least there's margin on that. There's not margin on these games, like we said. But I think, yeah. But again, going back to the death of physical media, that means the death of physical media is the death of GameStop. But yeah, it's really in the pre-owned area more so than everything, because you're talking about the current generation. A few years from now, there's not going to be any pre-owned games that are going to be on the shelves. No one's going to have a game to trade in.
Sure.
There's nothing left to make a profit on.
Yep.
That's game over at that point. Okay.